first off, I want to thank you all for subscribing and liking the video last time. It is a brand new channel, so every little like matters to me, so thank you for that. We get so much backstory for Cooper in this episode, which I'm all for, because Cooper is just an awesome character. You know, he's like very layered. He's been alive for like 200 years, and it's like later on, so it's like, that's pretty interesting.
I'm the sheriff, right? Well, why can't I just arrest a guy like I normally do?
Also, I love the contrast that they're establishing here, where it's like Cooper doesn't want to be the bad guy in his cowboy show. He wants to be the good guy. He believes that he should be good at like not executing the criminals, but only like arresting them. But you know, this is showbiz, not show friends. And he's complaining to the director, like, what do I really have to say all this stuff? Like, where's Bob? Where's Bob at? And he's like, Bob's gone. You know, Bob's the writer. Bob's also a communist.
Communist? Cadillac Bob?
Cadillac Bob, you're very one.
Oh, what a shame. He's such a great writer.
And that's a no-go. And then we finally get to meet Cooper's wife, who has a lot of interesting things going on with her. You don't get a whole lot of that initially, but she's a little sus, as are a lot of people in this show, actually. There are many plot lines, many threads going on at the same time. So Maximus gets into some trouble over at the Philly. Is it Philly? I forgot what the town was called. Cooper really, well, I want to say that he really destroyed Maximus's power armor, but he really just damaged a little dent on it, and you'll see why. So he has to repair his power armor. He's at the town, and he takes the piece out, and he's like, all right, I'm just gonna have to leave my power armor there. I hope nobody takes it. So while he's talking to the merchant has this cool like robotic voice. And he's like, all right, here's all the bottle caps I've got, and here's a little extra.
If you do it fast.
And she just takes the welder and goes, psst, and then it's just finished. It's like, what the fuck? That was so quick. And Maximus is like, God damn it. On his return, there's like a lot of people, and it's like, it's understandable. Like when you're playing the Fallout games and you see like a suit of power armor standing somewhere, that's gold. That's diamonds right there. You want that shit. So they're trying to get into the power armor, and Maximus tries to fight them off. He gets his ass beat. And then he's like, you know what? Johnny Cash starts playing. I got this. Let's fight. And he manages, they kind of throw him into his power armor, and he kind of puts his arm into the suit, and he's like, all right. He reaches over and he like crushes the head of one of those people there, and it's so gory, it's so crazy. And the other guy that sees that, he's like, oh god, and he starts running. This entire sequence is so good. So this show has a budget of $153 million. That's a pretty good budget. It's not as much as some other shows, but they make good use of it, especially the CGI. The CGI is something I've never complained about in this show. So because Maximus decided to impersonate Knight Titus when a checkup call came in from the Brotherhood, and he's like, nah, everything's okay here, they sent him another squire, and it's actually a squire that what we were introduced to in the first episode.
Knight Titus! I'm Thaddeus.
He's back, and he's back with new orders. They need to find the artifact, the head that has the important artifact in it. It's mostly to just get the artifact back. I don't know if they know that it's in this guy's head. Maybe they do. They also mentioned that the artifact is a remnant of the old world. So we know that it was made before the nukes were dropped, and it's something that can control or change the wasteland. That's all we know about it so far. So Lucy comes across this deer, this little Bambi looking thing. And you got to keep in mind that this is the first time she's seeing any of this. She's only read about deer and like other kinds of animals in books. She's probably a little surprised that they don't exactly look normal. I know when she was entering the town for the first time, the last episode, I forgot to mention that, but you get to see Brahmin. Brahmin are the two-headed cows. Those are cool. But then she hears a growl. It's a growl from a very disturbing looking creature, and it has a backstory that's going to come into play in a later episode. It's going to be important. And then Bambi gets dragged off and makes the most ridiculous sound. Like, do deers actually sound like that? I don't know. It sounds like a guy. But then this thing like starts fighting Lucy. Oh, you know, he's just punching her. It starts dragging Lucy off, and she fights it off. It managed to get Wilzig's head. Everybody's after this head, even this lake monster. It gulps it down, and Lucy's like, all right, son of a bitch, I need that head to fight Moldave. Well, not to fight her, but to find her. And then she hears a gun cock, and what? And then she hears the sound of a gun, and she turns around, and it's Cooper. Cooper tracked her down using dog meat. He came across the doctor, and now he's here, and he wants that head. And then he realizes, oh, the gulper got it. And now we have a name for what this beast actually is. It's the gulper. So this is not the first time we've seen the gulper. The gulper actually appeared in Fallout 4. It did look a little different. Gulpers normally look like, I don't know, like hunters from Resident Evil. They look like lizards with like very bipedal legs.
I'm just not really sure who I even am anymore.
So we're back in Vault 33, and Lucy's brother is being interrogated as to why he and the other guy let Lucy escape the vault.
Escape? You and Chet put your sister in incredible danger by helping her out that vault door.
Now, Lucy's brother is very good with computers. They mentioned that's one of his qualities. That's pretty important later. Basically, everything that goes on with the vaults is going to be seen through the eyes of Lucy's brother. And there's a lot that's going on in there.
He left with a girl, a woman.
How'd they get away?
I was waylaid. A ghoul intervened.
So Maximus and Thaddeus are talking, right? And they mentioned that, all right, why did you leave the ghoul alive? You know, because like Thaddeus thinks this is Knight Titus, not Maximus. I guess the Brotherhood of Steel are known for their extreme prejudice against anything that's not human. If you see a ghoul, it is killed on sight pretty much. And of course, you know, Maximus, he lost the fight. That's why Cooper's alive. Cooper is like he's like the main character of this game. He's that good compared to everybody else. But Thaddeus, you know, he's like, okay, no, you left him alive for a great reason, actually.
Great idea, sir. All wastelanders leave radiation trails. By allowing the ghoul to live, you've made it possible to trace the whereabouts of the target.
Ghouls leave radiation trails, and they could use that to track down the doctor's head and Lucy. So now they've got the trail. They know exactly where to go. And we have so many people going after Dr. Wilsig's head. It's actually funny when you think about it in retrospect. Cooper is using Lucy as bait for the gulper. He keeps like dunking her into the water, pulling her back out. Meanwhile, they're having a conversation about the nature of torture, which is kind of interesting. They're like, torture doesn't work, you know. She doesn't know she's live bait yet. The gulper, being somebody that loves to take the bait, shows up and nearly pretty much consumes Lucy. But, you know, Cooper actually he goes out of his way to save Lucy from that. So it kind of shows that Cooper, despite 200 years of like living in the wasteland and pretty much changing almost completely from who he was, he's not purely evil yet, you know? So Cooper grabs this metal pipe and he's like hitting this thing and it's looking like it's doing a lot of damage, right? It's a metal pipe. The monster it smacks him off with his tail or something, and Cooper's like, ugh. He's like flabbergasted as to what happened. So Lucy grabs, she's like struggling because like the gulper's nearly like eating her pretty much. She grabs a bag that she was carrying and she starts hitting it with the bag. And I kid you not, that does more damage than the metal pipe did. I don't understand, but like when she uses the bag, the gulper's like, oh God. This is where our friendly neighborhood ghoul starts getting a little pissed off. He's like, motherfucker, that head is deep in this lake and we're not going to be able to kill this thing and get the head back. So he kind of whispers to himself like, you know what? The gulper, it takes a little bit to digest anything. I guess he's had experience with this thing. So he's like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm clearly on a time crunch, and that's going to be revealed in the next episode as to why. So he lassos Lucy's neck and he's like, all right, you're coming with me. Lucy has no idea where they're going. That's all for next episode. But I love the little reference they give here where they're like, Cooper says something like,
Thou shalt get sidetracked by bullshit every goddamn time.
you know, in every Fallout game, there is the main quest, and then there's like hundreds of side quests, and obviously you're going to be doing the side quests primarily, and that's actually a really good description of what's going to be happening in the next episode. It's a side quest, and it's pretty damn cool. Like, this is how you want to do a video game adaptation. It's done so well. Like, you could tell the people that made this show actually know the games pretty in-depthly. I don't know if in-depthly is a word, but I'm going to use it.
To demonstrate to the surface dwellers and to each other what we mean when we say we're going to build a better world.
Thanks, Reg. That is a positive spin to put on it.
Now, because of the massacre in the first episode, they have a lot of raiders that somehow they subjugated. I would love to know how. I guess they have security systems in the vaults, like security guards that can actually detain people, because they have like 10 raiders-ish in a containment room, and they're trying to decide what to do about it. Like one overseer, or like acting overseer, we could reintegrate these people into society. Others are like, I could teach them Shakespeare. Another guy's like, I could teach them calculus. Like they're gonna use calculus in the wasteland. That is the most absurd thing I've ever heard. One thing I want to emphasize is I really appreciate how well-to-do how like kind and like ignorant they portray the vault dwellers as. It's very fun to see that. Now, Lucy's brother Norm actually suggests, you know what, instead of integrating these people, they massacred a lot of our vaults. A lot of our own people are dead because of them. Maybe we should do unto others as we would have had them do unto us. I don't know, cut that. I don't know what that means. And he basically suggests, hey, well, let's do what they would have done to us. Let's kill them. And everybody's like,
Wow. Jeez Louise, Norm.
Young Norm was just expressing a feeling. I know, I've got anger. We all do.
okay, but this is where you actually learn some more stuff about that gulper.
I'll lead the charge.
So Maximus and Thaddeus were following the trail that Cooper left behind, and they actually found the same lake where that gulper is. They're both like in the lake. They're like, all right, the radiation trail is going here, but what's going on? And then they hear like, oh, there's something coming. And I love this scene actually, because this really ties into the backstory that Maximus has. He's always viewed the Brotherhood of Steel because he was saved by them. I think it's going to be revealed in a later episode as to the more details about that. But he was saved by them by one of the knights, and he always viewed them as a hero. So this is the point. Then there's actually contrast to the previous episode with Knight Titus, where Knight Titus says, hey, Maximus, as my squire, go fight that bear, or go see if that bear is over there. And this scene, Maximus, posing as Knight Titus, says, you know what, Thaddeus, go to the shore and I'll take care of this.
Get back to shore.
But sir,
Go!
thank you, sir.
And I'd like that sort of character growth. Like, this is what a knight of the Brotherhood should be, at least idealistically in Maximus's eyes. The gulper immediately goes for Thaddeus, and Maximus has to run in like basically what's equivalent to slow motion, because then the armor is so heavy. So this is where we learn more about the gulper. They're fighting it off. Thaddeus is being swallowed, I guess, gulped by the gulper. You got to see these little projections a bit more clearly that the gulper has in its mouth, and they're actually little fingers. They're like human fingers. And then it cuts to the gulper's eyes, and you can see that he has human eyes as well. This, I believe, is very different from the other gulpers in the game. There's like human DNA mixed in with this gulper. It's going to be explained as to why in a later episode, but for now we're left with the mystery of like, what is this thing? They eventually kill this thing, right? And they recover the head. They're all celebrating. And then we go back to Lucy. She is very thirsty and wants Cooper's water. And Cooper's just like, no, you're not getting shit. He's like pouring the remnants of the water out like he has an excess supply. Part of that is like, because Cooper's a ghoul, he doesn't need to drink clean water. He can drink radiated water anywhere. So he doesn't have to worry about that.
Water everywhere and not a drop to drink.
And Lucy is kind of getting to the point where she's like, you know what? I kind of need to drink radiated water. She doesn't do it yet, but she does ask Cooper, like, is this what happened to you? Was it the radiation? And Cooper says like,
Something like that.
and that is classically how ghouls are made in Fallout. It isn't like a radiation exposure that suddenly turns somebody into a ghoul. It's more like they were created on the onset of the entire thing, right? And if I'm getting this wrong, post in the comment section below. But this is my understanding of how it works. Like when the nukes went off, certain people, for whatever reason, just had the correct genes, I guess. They got changed into a ghoul, and ghouls either become feral eventually, or maybe, or just never. I believe that they become feral ghouls eventually anyways. This is like classic Fallout lore. This is not necessarily what the show is going to be doing with ghouls, and I believe that is one of the things that they actually change in the show about ghouls. That's one of the primary concerns that people had. I'll talk about it in a later video though. We end this episode with Cooper shooting a billboard that shows the vaults. You can see that he absolutely hates vault tech. It's not like he's actually alone on that, like everybody on the surface hates vault tech, but Cooper in particular hates them more. And he actually has a lot of cause to hate vault tech, like knowing what we know. Like the Vault Tech Corporation is very evil. They are Umbrella from Resident Evil, but everybody else knows them more as, okay, they're like aristocrats, right? They're the rich elite that get to live in these fancy places and drink clean water and have not a care in the world pretty much. But Cooper knows something else about them, and we'll be going into that later. But for now, I love this episode. We got to see the gulper. There wasn't as much to do. There are some great episodes and some episodes that just, I would say are good episodes. They're not bad, right? I'm going to rate this like an 8 out of 10. It's still really good. Awesome. Overall, this show is just very impressive for a video game adaptation, but also just as a show overall. I would love to know somebody's experience who has never played Fallout and they don't know a lot about the game. Like, what do they think about the show, right? But as I said, good show, 8 out of 10. But I want to know what you think about it, though. Post in the comment section below. And yeah, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more videos about Fallout. I'm going to be covering the entire series, right? And as I said in the beginning of this video, this is a brand new channel. This is like the 3rd video going out. So I really appreciate all the likes and subscriptions, all the comments you guys are leaving. All that matters a whole lot. So thank you for that. I'll see you in the next one, I guess.